She stares in disbelief at those two pink lines. She feels isolated, out of options. Her shame feels overwhelming. The voices in her head contradict everything she's previously believed to be true about herself. In an instant, her confidence, self-assurance, and future seem in jeopardy. She's tempted to give in to false and limiting beliefs. She's tempted to believe her life is over. But she is more. She is more than her shame. She is more than what others claim is true about her. She is more than how society defines her worth. She is more. And she's worthy of being found and supported. So she knows she's not alone, and that she is more than her current circumstances. Join us so together we can reach her.
She is not alone, and we can reach her. Foothills Pregnancy Resource Center has been supporting and reaching her for 2 decades. We want to welcome you to our special film, Living the Legacy, recognizing the 20 years of remarkable service to all of the clients who have walked through this door. My name is Christine, and I love being the first one to respond to our clients on social media. I'm also privileged to be a part of the creative team who helped put together the celebratory film.
We are going to cover the great landscape which is FPRC, from its humble beginnings to its formidable presence today and tomorrow. We'll share the highlights from the past, experience some of the very real hardships our pregnancy medical clinic faces in the present, and hear us cast a future vision of hope. FPRC is a master of client and clinic engagement, and while we used to come alongside our clients in a somewhat private and quiet way, FPRC has now been thrown warp speed into an increasingly hostile environment set upon eliminating centers like ours completely. Along with the aid and support of helpers such as you, our donors, we serve her to the best of our ability, advocating for her rights while defending the integrity of our good work in a very public space. FPRC was birthed from the passion and efforts of some tireless pioneers in the life industry. Let's hear from some of FPRC's original legacy partners.
Just over 20 years ago, the city of Monrovia found itself in a precarious position. Planned Parenthood wanted to open an abortion clinic in the city. Legally, the city couldn't stop any such clinic from opening it if it met the state legal criteria of being there. Then things began to escalate. So, as the head of the Ministerial Association, I was called by the city manager who asked for help to calm down the situation and hopefully help create a path to a resolution. What the people didn't know was at the same time there were some city officials that actually had the same sentiment as they did. So we had an unofficial meeting at my home with the chief of police, the city manager, another city official, along with several pastors. By the end of that meeting, we had a resolution. We learned that one of the pastors that were with us had built a crisis pregnancy center at his previous pastorate in another state. And we all agreed having such a place in the city would definitely offset the issue and create a path to a resolution for everybody. Now, one of the key aspects of the center would be this: to aid every person who walked through the door with the love of God, without any accusation to anyone, and to serve each person with dignity. Out of that meeting, that pastor, myself, another, and soon a young lady by the name of Sheila Fleming, along with her husband Mark, began the process of founding what would eventually evolve into the Foothills Pregnancy Resource Center. Before you knew it, the center was opened. What makes the center great was not just its mission, but its practice. The practice of love, no accusation, and serving each person with dignity. I'm grateful I had, in the big scope of things, a small part to play at the beginning of what has now been can you imagine, a 20-year expression of caring for all people, the unborn, the newborn, both women and men alike, throughout our area in the foothills.
It wasn't something that any of us had initially signed up for, if you want to say it that way. Initially, it was to make our voices heard in regard to the concept of the Planned Parenthood Center actually opening an abortion clinic here in town. The ability of that group of concerned citizens to be able to keep that clinic from opening was a very momentous undertaking. And then with that, the challenge back from the city council and people involved in the community saying, okay, well, we've done what you've asked of us. Now, what are you going to do? Because the girls haven't disappeared. The young women haven't disappeared. The need is still there. Kristen, it was putting together from the steering committee to the board and getting the center open. The struggles at the beginning, I think, were part of what needed to happen in order to bring it to where it is now. There's a lot of hope by having organizations like this that can provide the mentorship for the young ladies as they're going through what is happening in their lives and being provided with maybe some of the physical needs, such as provisions for clothing or diapers or whatever is needed that way, but then also the social emotional help in dealing with the frustrations of life and the difficulties of life, and then the interconnectedness with the various churches and organizations through the center where they can get plugged in and live their lives. It's something to look back at that was an amazing work of God in our lives and has greatly affected this community. But I'm most proud of the fact that it's able to have continued on for these 20 years.
I heard about this for years before with Sheila, and it was her dream to save babies. And so she started talking to our other good friend was Cher. And so it was Sheila, Cher, and Carol. We were like the Three Musketeers. And she would talk about her dream of having a place where women who were pregnant and didn't plan on being pregnant could come and be counseled. It was for women who had been pregnant and aborted their children and could come and be counseled. It was just her dream to save lives. I understand that there was a committee that got together and they all had the same vision, and Sheila was just on fire. And then she started raising funds and going to different places that would support it financially. And she worked tirelessly, and never complained. Okay, so my vision is to have a plaque in the center that people who knew her and were kind of along the ride with her can see this when they come in, and people who don't even know her can see that there was a real person behind all of this success. And it's like when you go to a lake and you throw that pebble in, and you know all those ripples occur, and it's almost like it's endless out to, you can't even measure how far the ripples go. And that is like this center. It starts very, very small, and then somebody hears about this, and then some people want to support it, and then they start talking, and there's all that interwebbing of people with people with people. So Sheila had the greatest faith that God would do this, and he did it. And so here you are 20 years later with unbelievable success, unbelievable hundreds of babies that have been born and saved, thousands maybe.
And that's what was so special with FPRC, is that element of God being involved in somebody's life, especially at a pivotal time in their life, such a needy time, is something that not many other clinics offer. The support group was for either one or several women that wanted to talk about the time in their life that they were going through, a struggle they were going through, and it was a space for them to be heard, because these women are not heard. These women are usually in the predicament or the situation in their life that they're in because they've not been seen or heard in their own families. So I offered a space for them to be supported in a loving atmosphere, and accepted, non-judgmental atmosphere, where they could share their real feelings and share their wounds and their fears, and share with other women and hear other women, and see that they're not in it alone. Then we would also do some work allowing them to explore their ideas of God and His hand in their life, because along with our woundedness comes our distorted views of our own self-worth and distorted views of God. And so it was a real opportunity for them to learn that they're loved and lovable, and that their ideas and their feelings are safe to express. For the next 20 years, continue to allow all parts of a person's being to be addressed. Full range support. That's the good work, I think. Then we send people out into the world that are at least becoming whole, that have connected with a deeper part of themselves, even if they don't know it. And they can go and give that to their children, be more grounded in who they are. And just that in itself allows them to be a better parent. We need better parents. And so if this is a place that can continue to be somewhere that people come home to, then we're doing something right. Something that God wants done in the world.
I myself thought this was an amazing place, and it was so successful, with the people that were involved in it and loved it and cared about it. It was just like a little miracle, I thought.
Since 2004, we have been stepping into each client's story with heart, hope, and passion. We define each step along the path as a divine privilege. FPRC has worked to create a culture that cherishes each life, each story, each woman who walks through our doors. But who does walk through our doors?
Who is she today? She is a digital native who moves between different platforms like second nature. She is increasingly progressive in her politics and comes from the most racially diverse generation to date. Hers is also the most well-educated generation yet. And she is more likely to graduate high school and obtain a college degree. Yet, she is also more likely to face depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. Will you help us reach today's woman? We can meet her where she's at, so that you can show her that no matter how she is defined, she is loved, worthy, redeemed, and created in the image of God.
We meet our clients where they are at. One such client, Shaquan, had difficult circumstances surrounding an unplanned pregnancy, which caused her to consider abortion. Hear her tell how FPRC stepped into her circumstances and made all the difference.
Like right now, he's pushing up really hard, but it's easy. It's really easy to say like, oh, go ahead and abort the child and get rid of it without thinking, because as a single parent of 2 children, already under 10, living alone, coming from the background that I came from, no support, no help. I've been in the foster system since I was 2. Coming from something like that, the best thing or the easiest thing, let me say, is to just be like, run away from it. Don't have no kids. Don't bring children into this world, especially seeing that I was in the foster system and seeing how the world is. I am a single mother of 2. I was recently married. I'm going through like a process of divorce. We've been married 6 years, and we were trying for a child and never had it. And the moment that we decided to separate, we had a child, where I got pregnant, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm not gonna go through this. I'm not gonna go through with like having the child. So for the first, I wanna say 2-3 months, I kept talking about, getting an abortion and getting rid of a baby, because not only is it hard financially, it's extremely hard mentally. But in the same breath, having an abortion is an emotional thing. That's why I didn't go through with it, because everybody in my life, even everybody who knew about my situation, told me, okay, well, you know, go ahead and go to the clinic and get it done. Had I gone through with it, that emotional war, nobody's there with you. It's quick to say, it's easy to say, let me say, go ahead and go on abortion and just get it out, get it done and just go on with your life. But it's the aftermath of that. Nobody's gonna be in that room with you. Nobody's going to take care of you for those days that you're bleeding and you're aching and you're in pain. And nobody actually really considers the months later when you're sitting there like, dang, I could have had a whole child, or I would have never known if my child was a boy or a girl, or what they could have been, or anything like that. Had I gotten rid of it, I don't think that I would have gotten this deeper connection with my children, because they're so excited about meeting him, and I'm so excited about meeting him, regardless of what, you know, the father and I are going through with Foothills Pregnancy Resource Center. I actually found them through my doula. Miss Lori was absolutely amazing. Like, from the moment I picked up the phone and talked to her and she returned my call, the love that I felt over the phone is exactly what brought me in here. It was, I don't even know the word for it. It's an amazing feeling to know that a complete stranger has your back, and even though your blood family or your adopted family doesn't. They have a mentoring program, and I met Miss Rhonda, and she was kind and she just listened. To be heard is very important. To be seen when you feel like you're alone in a world full of people, especially somebody like me, battling depression and anxiety and all the other things that life is throwing at me. To be seen and listened to, I mean, that's one of the most amazing feelings, because I don't have that. I don't have that from my own family, but I can get it from a complete stranger who is now my family. The fact that we're gonna get diapers and a tub and clothes for him and different bathing things, just everything, the things that you need, the necessities that you need that I don't even have, because I don't have any support. My support is this resource center, and I'm extremely grateful for it. I just think stuff like that is just amazing, because the little bit that they feel like they're doing is, they think it's just this, it's just this. It's not. It's major to people like me who have nothing. Miss Lori, Miss Rhonda, even the front desk staff, they make it really easy to talk to them. They make it really easy to want to open up. She didn't ask any invasive questions, but somehow I just word vomited everything I was going through, because she just made me feel so comfortable and so heard. And being pregnant, that's what you really, really need. You really need that emotional support. It's really rare for me to have support. I've always been on my own. I've always done it myself. So when they came in the picture and I found them, I mean, grateful is an understatement of what I am.
Candy and Savannah are two more clients who've been inspired and encouraged by FPRC. You have already met them in a previous film when they shared their stories.
The Pregnancy Health Center gave me that extra step that I needed to allow me to do things I needed to do. Instead of spending $20 on a pack of diapers, I was able to come here to get that. That $20 went on something I needed for my schooling, that, a tool that I needed, a certain brush that I needed to help me get to where I want to be.
What a joy it is to see Candy thriving in her work today. Savannah was inspired to go to ultrasound school after a pregnancy loss. She found FPRC while she was in school, and we had the privilege of giving her the good news of her growing family. We are blessed to have Savannah as a part of FPRC in a whole new capacity. Now let's meet Jennifer, who, like 1 in 4 women, had chosen abortion in her past. But Jennifer's path crossed with FPRC when she sought healing afterward. When she faced another unplanned pregnancy, her encounter with FPRC changed her story and the life of her unborn child.
6 months ago, I found out I was pregnant again, And I do have older children. So when I found out, the situation was not ideal, and a lot of people would say that I should have an abortion in my situation. I am going through the pregnancy alone. But because I've been through abortion and I've been through the healing and, initially I went through the pain of it, I knew that that wasn't the right choice. I know that whatever I'm dealing with right now, being pregnant and alone, is far much better than going through an abortion again. That has so much more pain. It's just a horrible feeling. I would never do it again. So that abortion really helped me make the decision this time around. It made me know for sure that's not what I want. And I've had to explain that to many people. Many people have came to me and said, why would you keep this baby? Why would you have a baby when you already have a lot of kids? The father is not around. But I people that didn't know I had an abortion, I had to explain to them, look, I've had an abortion before and you may not understand this, but it's so painful, and I went through abortion healing, and I will not do that again. So I know that this is the right choice despite of the obstacles. I don't regret my choice to keep this baby. I think that going through the healing has a big impact on my choice, and I think that if more women did go through healing, then more women would choose life instead of repeated abortions. I definitely think it helped my decision to go through the healing, and instead of just sweeping it under the rug and just doing it again, repeating it. So I think that a lot of women would benefit from the healing, and it would save a lot more babies in the future. A lot of women don't want to face it, they don't want to talk about it. Sometimes I feel am I the only one? When I show my sensitivity towards it, a lot of women they kind of don't want to hear it. And I think that they're just hiding their own pain. I started a one-on-one mentoring with Rhonda. So she meets with me about once a week, and she just talks to me about whatever I have going on, what's on my mind. And it's been so helpful, it's been comforting. She prays with me at the end, and she's very understanding. They've been giving me supplies. I always walk out with something nice, blankets for the baby. I got maternity clothes, underwear, just a lot of things that I needed. I also got referred to a stable space. It's where they come to your house and they decorate for you and they set you up with a whole nursery. And I spoke with the lady from that place, so she's telling me that, they can help me decorate a nursery for my baby, and, they help you with the crib, and they make it really nice. And that's also so comforting, for someone that's going through such a hard time. Things like that really brighten up your day and make you feel blessed and make you know that God's looking out for you. So the resources here are just so many. Knowing that they're gonna help support me, giving me supplies and baby stuff for the next 2 years, it definitely feels less alone. When you're contemplating abortion, you're not at ease, you're in a lot of pain, and then when you actually go through it, it's not the relief that you think you're gonna get from it. You're just hurting so much inside, and you're hating yourself for it. So at least this time, I feel at ease. I feel good about my decision. I feel I'm doing the right thing. It's a beautiful thing. I'm bringing life into the world again, and a baby is pure and innocent and beautiful. And I'm having a little baby girl, and I feel the baby I lost was a little girl. So I feel God's giving me a second chance, and I'm so grateful for it.
Now we look ahead to the next 20 years. We took some time to speak with a few of you, our donors, who help make FPRC what it is today and will be in the future.
We are so happy for the opportunity to celebrate with Foothills Pregnancy Resource Center for 20 years of phenomenal success. We've supported the cause from the beginning because we have believed in the work they are doing.
And we are certainly looking forward to the next 20 years of blessings.
Amen.
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 I think right now is really a very difficult time because if you look at the news, it's all pro-abortion, and that's not reality. I feel that the everyday woman really is afraid of the abortion because of the fact she knows what she's doing to the baby, to the fetus. But yet she's afraid that people will judge her if she comes and ask for help. I do feel that they're afraid. They don't know what to do. Oftentimes the pregnancy, of course, is unwanted. And so the easy solution is to just get rid of it. When somebody says that you have choice, the choice should be both sides. And I think what they've done is they've made the choice as abortion or not. And the choice should be life or not.
For just about 4 decades, I was a LA County fire captain, a paramedic for 40 years. I've had the privilege, and it was a privilege, to deliver about almost 29 babies with these hands, being a trained paramedic. So it was very cool, because too many times in my career, I had the option where I had to pronounce death thousands of times. So on the flip side, it was always a blessing to be able to, in those 29 babies, bring them into life, cut the cord, hand it to the mom, and see that the glowing face. My wife and I have felt and seen very clearly the actions and the emphasis put on what you do here. And just touring the place kind of really spurred me on more to even be more involved, as I see how the transformation has taken place over the last couple of years. There's many people who are behind the movement of, babies' lives matter, and so it has spurred us on to encourage other people within our church and even ourselves. Yeah, there's something we can do as an average Joe and the average Betty Sue, or no matter who you are. There's something we can do, and we want to be able to step up and do that. We felt very good about what we've seen in the last many years as a pastor and as a congregant of Glendora Alliance for 35 years, seeing all what's taken place. But we wanted to kind of get skin in the game by doing it personally. There weren't places 20, 30, 40, and 50 years ago where they could get help and get the assistance and support, the encouragement they needed to get through that particular crisis or whatever that was. And so that's why it's even more of a blessing to be able to be here to support and be behind what we're doing here as a partner, because I know at any time that if we have a young lady or woman in our church or anyone that I happen to know or run and cross paths with, there's somewhere and something we can refer them to. And they don't have to be alone in the dark. There's some place where they're going to get some counsel other than what the world has to offer them. And that's what's so pleasing and a blessing to be a part of this Foothills Pregnancy Resource Center family. I appreciate it a lot. So my encouragement, my challenge is to everyone who hears this, here's our opportunity, each of us, to step up and to be a partner with the Lord as we would partner with Foothills Pregnancy Resource Center. God bless you all.
We don't live locally, and we still want to support FPRC because over the years we've really seen fruit from this ministry, and we believe in investing in ministries that bear good fruit.
And I would say too that even though we're not local per se, we are living in California and we care about this kind of ministry in California. So for us, investing in this, especially because it's based in California, is significant contribution that we want to make to just the cause here.
Also, that FPRC has an ultrasound. We know that it is a fact that when women and men can see their unborn babies, what an impact that has, and it saves lives. That is fruit. And also I think about the fact that this center is really in the heart of a very multi-ethnic community. And we know that abortion clinics target multi-ethnic communities, and they have a disproportionate amount of abortion clinics in multi-ethnic communities. And the fact that FPRC is right in the middle of that fight, saving lives, makes me want to invest even more. I didn't even know what a pregnancy center was, and seeing over these years this incredible ministry and what God's done through Lori, through the support staff, the board, through all the incredible volunteers, it's so awesome to be a small part, even way up here in Northern California, of a community that works so hard and is in the fight day after day, saving lives. We believe in you. We want to say kudos, congratulations on 20 years. We are so proud to be a part of the work that you are doing and that God is doing through you. And here's to another 20 years.
Amen.
It's not over. Yet. She still needs our help. There's still time to save them. The Supreme Court ruling was just the beginning. The political battle is heating up, and she feels she's running out of time. But you are here for such a time as this. You can make a difference. It's not over yet. Your donations offer hope to women considering abortion. Your gifts make parenting and sweet moments possible. You still have time to give the greatest gift. Give the gift of life. Give today, because it's not over yet. Now is the chance to save and change lives.
It isn't over yet. For 20 years, FPRC has been making a stand for preborn life and for women in need by providing actual help, healing, and tangible support. We are unwavering in our mission, and so we continue, because every life matters, because every human is created in God's own image, because light needs to shine when there's darkness all around us, because providing physical and emotional support allows our clients to thrive, because hearing each other's stories, it's empowering. You have just heard story after story from clients, donors, and current supporters that have believed in our mission from the very start 20 years ago. What part will you play in our next 20 years? God's put gifts and strengths inside each one of us to do the work He's called us to do. 20 years ago, He called the team that founded FPRC. He called them out in the same way that He's called upon our current staff and volunteers who are continuing to live out the legacy. But there is more work to be done, a greater impact for us to make. Your financial support is one of the foundations for tangibly supporting even more women, babies, and families for another 20 years. Simply put, more funding equals more impact. In the last few years, you have helped us broaden our reach and meet the needs of more clients through paid targeted ads. We've begun offering a new service in STD testing thanks to your giving. And it is because you donate that we can continue to impact our community through the services and support that we provide. Will you consider giving to FPRC today? Thank you for your generous support over the last 20 years. We are so excited about what God has in store for our next 20 years as we continue to live the legacy.